The North Channel first captured my imagination as a paddle challenge at the end of 2020. At its shortest point, it's 34.5 kilometres between Donaghadee in Northern Ireland and Portpatrick in Scotland. I first paddled the channel in August 2021, and we took a gamble on a gap between two weather systems and got it wrong. I paddled for about 7 hours in washing machine conditions just to get across to Scotland. I got across and I was proud of that, but it wasn't the paddle experience I'd wanted. It felt out of control, I was seasick. I knew that I could paddle a stretch of water better. As soon as I hit the shore in Scotland, I knew that I wanted to come back and give it another crack. I don't think I'm quite done with the North Channel yet. I'd like to come back and try it again at some point, I think, with better conditions, but they're hard to come by. Training for this year's paddles look very different for me. We had a beautiful baby girl arrive last year, and who's 18 months old now, so the training's been a lot of super early mornings, so 4 AM starts, just to try and get the long paddles in around family life. Also had a bit of a personal struggle behind the scenes with atrial fibrillation and arrhythmia condition, and I'm just awaiting an ablation operation next year to hopefully correct it. So I've had to listen to my body and be really careful how I train and build up to the paddle. That's also why I'm trying to raise some money for Arrhythmia Alliance UK by doing this paddle. Hi everyone, just here in Portpatrick on the Scottish side of the crossing, and just awaiting a window to go over the weekend hopefully. The plan was to start about 3 kilometres south of Donaghadee, about an hour before the change in tide, and then try and use the tide and the wind to slingshot us towards Scotland. My target was to get somewhere near the current record, but you never 100% know what's going to happen on the channel, so you have to just be willing to throw everything at it and meet the sea on its terms on the day. Okay, start of the North Channel, second attempt, let's go for it and see what happens. Covered the first 12k off the Northern Ireland coastline pretty quickly, helped along by a pretty steady cross-tail breeze. Okay, that is again an hour and 35 minutes across the channel, and I think we're about 11.5k in, so I think the pace is pretty good. It's pretty bumpy. At this point we hit what felt like a counter current, with the sea pushing against me. So the pace dropped off and we had to work pretty hard for about 6 kilometres. The wind had a subtle change in direction and started to come more head cross from the southeast, and the swell started to pick up from the same direction. Okay, that's 2 hours and 40 minutes in. Quite a tough middle section, past halfway now. And the speed seems to have picked up slightly.
So, the sea's looking pretty good at this stage. We are, there's the watch, hold it for a while, 3:22 into the paddle, and we've just got some birds showing a little bit of interest in Fletch, and just in the distance, you probably can't see it on the camera, but we are approaching Port Patrick. So probably about another hour and a half, maybe a little bit more. Our rate drift is coming up slightly, probably higher end of where he'd want it to be, just through that tough patch in the middle, but he's looking good.
From the 20k mark, the pace was good, but I could feel the tide just pumping across me underneath the board. And combined with the wind, I could visibly see us being pushed up the Scottish coastline, adding more and more distance to the paddle.
Okay, that's 4 hours and 20 minutes. It's about 31 kilometres-ish.
32k, we had a little diversion around the back of a massive shipping container that we didn't want to play chicken with. As we turned with the tide around the back of the shipping container, my speedo briefly read 14 kilometres per hour, which demonstrates the strength of the tide that we've been fighting across all day. The last 6k to shore, the southeasterly wind picked up, making it a bit of a dogfight against the tide and the cross-swell to get onto the shore of Scotland.
Last 5-6k, maybe more, and the wind just turned on us. It was virtually impossible to land the board. Just trying to fight a fairly hefty side swell. Okay, just landing in Scotland. I seem to have a habit of landing on amazing beaches with amazing sunsets. We were going well at points, but in the end, Mother Nature just was a bit too much. 6 hours or so, which is an hour and a half-ish quicker than last time, so I think it's time for a beer. Thanks all.
Both times I've paddled here, I've learnt a lot each time. Not only learning how best to paddle this stretch of water, but you also learn a lot about yourself. I was left with a very different feeling after the second crossing. The tide was one of the strongest this year. Combined with some subtle changes in currents and wind, it made for a longer paddle than we planned. But while the first attempt felt out of control, this one didn't. I felt equal to it, 41 kilometres in 5 hours and 59 minutes in those conditions was a great paddle. And most importantly for me, it was an awesome, wild, open sea experience that I won't forget in a hurry. You paddle and you learn, and I already know what I'd do differently if I tried again, which I don't think I could ever rule out. But for now, there's other challenges to aim at, so I'd just like to say a big thank you to the family, friends and sponsors that helped me go on my North Channel journey. And thanks North Channel, it's been epic.